Hello everyone, welcome back for the final part in the 77 Witchy questions tag. So there are 3 others leading up to this one, so do make sure to check those out before this. I mean, you don't really have to, but then you miss the other questions, so. Alright, we got 63. What, if any, legal herb do you use for moods? So, I don't know if they're trying to like hint for a particular one that depends on what state you're in that's legal, and the uses vary on what's legal and what's not, or if they just mean in general, but typically I do like to use tea magic a lot, and there are medicinal purposes as well as magical, so like if I have an upset stomach, I love to have a ginger tea, and if I'm very anxious, like a chamomile, lavender, or a peppermint, but also peppermint is good if like you have an upset tummy, so like those, I guess. 64. What is the most recent spell ritual you have done? Slight detail, please. So, technically, I don't know if it counts. Does the exercises from Inner Temple of Witchcraft count as a spell or a ritual? Because it kind of is. If we're not counting that, I have an ongoing spell that I'm not going to get into a lot of the details for. Obviously, it's ongoing, but it's one that I am doing for the foreseeable future. It is not the one I posted, by the way. For Maybon, it's a different one. And it involves, similarly, it involves doing something every day for a long period of time with visualization and usually some kind of, like an oil or blessing with smoke or fire or something every day. That's all the details I'm gonna do. 65. Do you have a happy place you go to during meditation? Not really. I think eventually we do build the inner temple, but currently no, you just have a screen in your mind. 66. Oh god, this is a hard one. What is your favorite witchy book? You can't see it, but there's literally every shelf of this is filled with books. So. Alright, we're gonna go with the one I feel like is the most helpful currently, and it's the one I've been referencing a lot. This book, Inner Temple of Witchcraft. He covers a lot, and as much as I love Cunningham, his stuff is getting dated. Pensack is still alive, doing well, and his content is definitely, like, this is the updated, like, it's a new book, and he just revised it. So I feel like a lot of it is still prevalent to the world today. And he explains things really well and really walks you through your first year as a witch. And I think the rest of the series is going to be good. I don't know, haven't read it, but that one so far. But that's hard. I have a lot of books, and a lot of them have been good, and a lot of them have been meh, and there's quite a handful that are just like, oh my god. Like, they sometimes get banished to the bottom shelves where you can't see it. It's behind my chair. 67. Do you have a ritual to get ready before a spell or ritual? What is it? Not really. Like, I know some people will do like a shower thing and like get themselves all into ritual garb and whatever. Sometimes I do. Most of the time I just wear my street clothes, and then sometimes I'll cleanse my space with, like, I have a Palo Santo stick I've been using forever, and sometimes I'll do that and then I'll cast my circle, but other times I'll just sit at the altar and take like 3 breaths and then we're good to go and start doing whatever I'm doing. 68. Do you always use your own spells or do you tweak others? Both. I think sometimes there is power in using what has worked from other people, and if the wording or some step of it doesn't work for you, change it. But I've had really good successful spells from other people. I've had some that flop, that kind of work, kind of don't. And like there's some that I plan to do that it's like, I'll totally do that, but I gotta change some things. Cause like a lot of spells will be like, you gotta go bury this at a crossroads, and I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna go do that. Let's just be honest, I'm not gonna do that. So I alter it for a different way to get kind of the same results. Or like ingredients and like calling on deities and whatever. I'll usually change them up, but also I'll write my own all the time. 69. I'm terrible, I know. Do you prefer spells, rituals inside or outside? Honestly, I like inside. I like the controlled temperature. You don't have to worry about your candles blowing out, and typically you can make it very safe very easily. Versus outside, you have to worry if there's a strong gust of wind, it's going to knock your candles over, and is it going to set them to be off, or is it going to set things on fire? I have to worry about that, and like I have a lot of social anxiety, and so like I don't have like a space to like get away from people to go do things. But in my little witchy room here, I can be completely away from people, and I just lovingly tell my family to leave me alone. and then they do, and it's fine. You don't really have that luxury outside. And then you have, like, the usual fears that everyone has, because, like, I have anxiety, so I'm like, any little twig snap, and I'm like, oh my god, is it a mountain lion or is it a murderer? And it was probably a deer adjusting in their sleep. Versus in the safety of my house, where it's like, I have my cameras that are on our yard, so I know we're fine, and like everything's locked up, and I'm just in my own little bubble, and I don't have to worry about temperature too much, being too hot or too cold, or both, and neither simultaneously, because heat regulation is fun. Like, it's easier inside. And then like bugs, like, ugh, I hate bugs. And like snakes and spiders and just all the creepy crawlies, you know? It's just easier inside. 70, if you come from a Christian or Catholic, the specific background, did you find the transition hard with family and the whole going to hell thing, basically leaving all you have been told was right? I didn't have that problem. I was raised atheist and sort of agnostic, so nope, didn't have that problem. Mine's more like, you believe in a thing? Okay. 71, what are your totem animals? I don't think we use that phrase really anymore. I think it's more spirit animal, or like spirit guide animal thing. Anyways, animal guides. I don't know because I haven't really done the work to really figure it out. I have speculation. I've had readings where people have told me what it is, and I'm like, maybe. I think they can change over time. Sometimes they're there for just a specific point in your life, and especially when you have very strong transitional periods, I feel like those could change too, and I think I'm moving into a new point in my life, and I think it would be a new animal. I don't know yet. I feel like eventually we're gonna get there in the temple series, so I'm just kind of at this point being like, we'll get there when we get there. 72, what are some things you reuse after spells or ritual work? Sometimes candles. I know that's like kind of like a whoo, but like if I'm doing a ritual for like this season and I don't use the whole candle, I don't see any problem reusing it for something else. Just kind of cleanse it out, use it for something else. Tools and stuff usually I'll reuse. But most of my spell work, I like to use combustible items. Like, I'm gonna burn paper, I'm gonna burn incense, burn a candle, whatever. I'm gonna bury something. And that, or I'll have something that's like a long-term use, like a poppet, for example, and that I will reuse over and over. So I don't, like, it's kind of reusing it, because it's like for the same purpose. Like, I don't reuse like the little bits of candle wax that's left over and save them and melt them down and reuse them. That's too much work. I will just go get a new candle and throw the rest away. 73, who helped you the most when you were starting on your path? Charming Pixie Flora. I watched her channel literally religiously. I would get up early for school and I would watch at least like 6 of her videos before I would go to school. And I would sit there and have my little morning cup of tea right before I was going into like high school, and I would watch her channel, and I wanted to do her year in a day program. I couldn't afford it because like I was in high school and like I wasn't even old enough to like have a job. And then like I finally did eventually, kind of, but by then it was just like a pre-recorded, like it wasn't really an active community anymore thing. But her channel, I did every single video that she had of like a tutorial, did every single one of those, and every single thing that she's like recommended I would try and do. And I watched all of her videos multiple times over. That was my main teacher, and of course it's gone. So I can't even tell you to go check it out. She took everything down again. So 74, do you know any good witchy phone apps like moon phases? I do! I just barely talked about this in a video recorded literally yesterday. There's this app called Full Moon. That's it, that's all it's called. And it looks like this, and it's my favorite. It tells you the moon phase, the percent, the sign, how many days until the new and the full moon. It goes into a lot of details. Quick and easy, I love it. I paid for the premium. I think it was like $4. I think it was well worth it. 75, what is your favorite magical study? Currently, I guess Norse things. Like, I like learning about the gods and like the runes and stuff like that. I don't know too much about like the official community, to be honest, because like they're a little intense and a little too reconstructionist and my way or the highway attitude for my likings. I don't care. I just like the gods. They're my jam right now. And so I'm very hesitant to like jump into that community because I'll watch a few channels and I'm like, oh, you're a little intense. It's not the witchcraft community where we're like, do what you want, man. Like, you want to have this deity associated with this and like with these colors and herbs and whatever, Like, cool, that works for you, awesome. And I've, at least in my experience so far, the heathen, Asatru, and like Norse pagan groups, it is so the opposite. They're like, oh my god, you have UPG me, and like, you gotta follow it to a T, and I'm like, I don't want to though. But I do love learning about it. It's very interesting. 76. Outside of the YouTube and Facebook community, do you have a lot of witchy friends in the physical world? First of all, that's assuming I have friends. 77. Do you feel that the deities we work with are a force from one higher power, and that all beliefs and religions are from the same one God, one place? No! There is so much variety out there. To say it's just one is to try and bottle up the ocean in like a teacup. Like, no. Like, I totally believe there are multiple gods in charge of the oceans, and that sometimes they might clash a little bit and be like, well, I want to do this, well, I'm gonna do this, and then like the ocean goes like a little haywire. And same with like the causes of like an earthquake or a tornado or like the moon. Like, I can't wrap my head around the idea that there's just the one. And I know a lot of people love the idea of the diamond. I hate it personally. I think it is really simplifying a very big thing, and it works for a lot of people. Just not for me. They're all very unique and very different, just like humans. We're all technically humans. I would not say we're all the same though. Alright, so we have made it to the end of this very long tag. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear your answers to these in the comments down below. Again, there are previous parts to this, so do make sure to check those out. Huge thank you to my patrons. I'll have their names here. If you'd like to support me and get access to exclusive content, it is patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day over here. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.